My name is Yechiel Michael Leiter. I'm the ambassador of Israel to the United States. I live here in Washington. I represent Israel to the U.S. government and to the people of the United States. And it's very important for me to reach out to the people of Lebanon and to let you know that we want very much to pursue peace with you. We want to live together in peace and harmony. We have no issues with your territory. We have issues only with our security. And when we're threatened, we have to respond, because the same way you want to live in security, so do we. So we're looking for ways of pursuing talks. We're looking for ways of pursuing peace. And at the same time, we're looking to secure our citizenry and our country. What I envision is a relationship of peace and harmony. There's no reason why there wouldn't be peace between Israel and Lebanon, between the people of Lebanon and the people of Israel. We have so much in common. Really, I've met Lebanese communities all over the world, South America, Western Africa, and you're such an industrious people. Like Jewish communities around the world, you've done well. And imagine if you lived in a country without war, without civil war, without strife, without being raped by foreigners like the Iranians who are pumping money into an organization which has really robbed you of your peace, of your internal peace and peace in the region. So I think that we could reach a stage where Israelis are visiting Beirut, Lebanese are visiting Jerusalem. We're sharing a common goal of living together in peace and harmony. We're developing our tourism industry. You know, after the Abraham Accords with the UAE and Bahrain, hundreds of thousands of Israelis came to visit these countries. They spent money, the businesses developed, and the governments are doing research together. Why can't we work together, for example, with Lebanon on maritime trade? We share an ocean, and there's so much we can do in gas exploration. Instead of arguing about where the line is, we can work together to determine where the line is. We can determine what we can do together with the natural resources of the ocean, of the region. There's so much we can do. So I envision peace. And I just want to say that I had the fortune of visiting Lebanon many, many years ago. And I remember being in the Shuf Mountains, overlooking Beirut, and thinking to myself, this really is Switzerland of the Middle East. This could be so calm. This could be so beautiful. And I think that's what every Israeli across the political spectrum is waiting for, envisions. We just have to prevent a situation where missiles stationed in Lebanon, not by the Lebanese, not by all the Lebanese, but by groups that are interested in wars of other countries, being fired into Israel. And the only interest we have is protecting our border, as Lebanon wants to protect its border. So we can find a way of doing that together and getting these foreign elements out of the picture and just pursuing the avenue of mutual understanding, peace and harmony. I think that we could clearly move into Abraham Accords 2.0. 2019, 2020 was Abraham Accords 1.0. Now we've got to go into 2.0, and we've got to expand the broad relationship of moderation within the Middle East. I mean, look how the peace that we brokered with the UAE, with Bahrain, unfortunately Sudan is mired in a civil war, with Morocco, how it sustained the past 2 years of the war in Gaza. It's a sustainable peace, and everybody's benefited from it. And nothing was demanded of Israel. You know, the UAE didn't come and say, divide Jerusalem, you know, leave your historic homeland. They just made peace. And everybody benefited from it. So we may begin with an understanding on a military level, on a disarmament of withdrawal of forces, different areas, an agreement on the border. But it should soon, and it can, there's no reason why it wouldn't emerge into Abraham Accords 2.0 and go full throttle into the peace that I envisioned. First of all, Lebanon benefits that the extremists within the country are degraded. You can't move forward in human development in growing your economy, in internal harmony amongst the various religious groups, if there's civil war, if there's a foreign influence which is compromising the peace and harmony within the country. So first of all, they'd benefit because they'd be aligned. Lebanon would be aligned with moderate Islam, with the countries within the region who want to downplay the extremists within Islam and ensure that Christians, Jews, and Muslims can live together in peace and harmony. So that's the first benefit. The second, of course, would be economic. Israel is an economic powerhouse, and living in such close proximity and exchanging ideas, the world of ideas, exchanging the world of the academics, of course, technology, human development. It's all going to grow, and the economies are going to grow. And when economies grow, people are better off, and that would be the benefit both to Lebanon and Israel. There's no reason why Lebanon can't be really a pearl in the Middle East. I mean, it's geographically situated, and the culture, it's very acculturated to the west. It's situated geographically in a perfect location. So I think that we can move forward together, and everybody would benefit from peace, from moving into the Abraham Accords. If there's peace and we have an agreement over the border, and there are more than 5 points that have to be discussed, and they're all manageable. If we sit down and work this out, the 13 points, the 17 points, the 19 points, there's a whole series of points along the border that have a long history. This issue didn't begin with the 5 points. We weren't in the 5 points 2 years ago, right? But because we had missiles raining down our civilians, I mean, please understand, we had to move 70,000 people out of their homes for a year. This was very traumatic for the entire country after what we experienced on October 7th, when another 70,000 people had to be removed from their homes. So we can't go back into a situation where we send Israeli citizens back to their homes, men, women, and children, and then we have to remove them again because Hezbollah decides they're going to start firing missiles at us again. Or they're going to build tunnels under the homes of Lebanese civilians who have nothing to do with Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. They're going to build these tunnels. They're going to use money coming from Iran to destabilize Lebanon. The whole thing's insane. Why should Iranian money be destabilizing Lebanon in order to fire missiles at Israeli civilians? We have no territorial claims on Lebanon. We want to live in peace with Lebanon. I remember being stationed in Metula. We had a good fence. And I remember we had thousands of Lebanese coming in search of work. And we had factories in northern Lebanon, and people came and made a living, went back and forth every day. I remember them lining up at 4 o'clock in the morning because there was more work to be found in northern Israel. We'd be more than happy to see that happen again. And, if necessary, to have Israelis going into southern Lebanon if there was an exchange of goods. There's so much we can do together. Why should we allow people with apocalyptic visions of terminating Israel? Israel's not going to be eliminated. Give up Hezbollah, give up Iran. We're not going anywhere. And I think most of the Lebanese understand that. So they say, well, if Israel's not going anywhere, might as well embrace each other, might as well live together. Why not, right?
We have a history.
We have a history. We have a history. So we can do so much together. And we have no territorial designs on Lebanon. We want Lebanon to be secure. That's our most important objective in this. We want Lebanon to be secure. And when our airplanes operate against Hezbollah installations, they're not only securing us, they're securing us. But in the long run, they're securing Lebanon as well. Because Lebanon, as long as it's going to be held hostage, they're not going to be able to have normal lives. So we're doing it for our security. But an added value is the fact, a big added value, is that Lebanon is going to be more stable. So by the end of the year, yes, there is a commitment within the ceasefire for the Lebanese government to disarm Hezbollah. Now, whether it's going to be by the end of the year, it's going to take a little bit longer. We're not going to count, we're not holding a stopwatch, but it has to be done. We have to understand this. This has to be done. We are not going back into a situation where we have crazy people firing missiles across our border. Not in the south with Hamas, not in Lebanon, not with the Houthis with their ballistic missiles. We just can't have that anymore. So there was this attempt by Iran, and it's important for the Lebanese people to understand this. Iran had this idea, not the people of Iran, the government of Iran, these mullahs sitting in Tehran, had this vision that they're going to eliminate Israel. How? By creating this ring of fire around Israel. The Hamas, the Houthis, the Assad regime, remember the Assad regime? And Hezbollah in Lebanon. They would attack all at once, they'd come through the tunnels, they'd fire the missiles, and then Iran would fire ballistic missiles into the country. And we're a tiny little country. I mean, you know what it, united front, all fronts at once, and we wouldn't be able to withstand the attacks. Now, why would the Lebanese people want to be part of that insanity? They don't want to be part of it. We're sure the Lebanese people don't want to be part of it. We're sure the Lebanese people want to move into an accord with Israel, not into missiles with Israel. So the disarming has to take place. And you ask me what that looks like? There's an expression in Hebrew, there's probably the same expression in Arabic, which goes like this. If it swims like a duck and quacks like a duck and looks like a duck, it's probably a duck. You know, they say about when you see it, you know it's true. Everybody will know when Hezbollah is disarmed, okay? The tunnels have to be destroyed. The infrastructure that they built has to be destroyed. The arms that they have to be eliminated, have to be turned over. And everybody will know that Hezbollah is no longer raining terror upon the Lebanese and the Israelis. Let's see it be done in steps. We appreciate that redemption doesn't come all at once, overnight, but more has to be done. And more has to be done. And we all know that more can be done and that more has to be done. Without getting into the specifics of who's doing what and how it's being done, we all know that more has to be done. And Hezbollah is reconstituting. We know the amounts of money that Iran is pouring into Lebanon. We also happen to know how it's getting into Lebanon. We don't have to talk about that now. We'll talk about that next time. But we know how it's getting there. We know who's sending it. We know who's receiving it. We know what they're doing with this money. The first thing is to stop that flow of money. And that'll make it difficult for Hezbollah to reconstitute. And then it will be easier to actually act militarily to remove the guns if they don't turn them over. But we know what it looks like, and that has to be done. There are meetings on the military level through the American administration, the American military, through CENTCOM in Nakura once a month. And that's for coordination on a military level. And what the administration has asked for is that we add a civilian element to these meetings. And that's what the Prime Minister agreed to, and that's what President Aoun agreed to. And in addition to the military coordination yesterday, we had talks about financial issues. And that too has steps. So the first step is, it says in Psalms, the book of Psalms, written by King David, to turn away from evil and then turn to good. So the first step is we have to turn away from the bad money that is supporting Hezbollah. What I mentioned before about the money pouring in from Iran, that's bad money. And that's supporting those who would destroy peace, who would prevent us from getting into the Abraham Accords. Once we begin those talks and we embellish the mechanism for dealing with that, then we can move to the next stage of positive money, of good money. Then we're able to come to our Saudi friends, to our Emirati friends and say, look, this isn't money that you're throwing out. This is money that will really help stabilize Lebanon and have them enter into the Abraham Accords as well, because there's no more bad money coming in. And if there's no more bad money, that's going to attract the good money. And that's going to help with investment pouring into the country and the development of Lebanon's economy, which has been shattered by so many years of this occupation by Hezbollah and the terrorism and the tripwiring into civil war. It'll really enable a situation whereby it'll be Abraham Accords full throttle. It would be a terrible mistake to assume that because we've engaged now in civilian talks as well through the Nakura negotiation, that the military necessity of disarming Hezbollah has been taken off the table. If Hezbollah can be disarmed without the military option, then that's fine. May blessings be upon us all. But the chances of that happening are slim. So Hezbollah has to be disarmed, and negotiations for on the civilian level towards peace, towards economic development, removing the bad money, then bringing in the good money, and developing Lebanon economically has to be on a parallel track with the disarming. This is not in place of disarming Hezbollah. Because if we move ahead and forget about disarming Hezbollah, there's not going to be good money. Lebanon is not going to develop. They're going to continue to be held hostage. We're going to continue to be threatened. We're going to have to act on those threats. And it's the vicious cycle once again. We don't want to act against Lebanon. We want to act against Hezbollah. We want to act against those who fire missiles and attempt to eradicate our state. We don't want civilians hurt, and we don't want our existence threatened by people who are operating on behalf of a country, or a government really, of Iran, that has a theological, political agenda to eradicate the state of Israel. Really, their goal is to defeat the West, defeat all of Judeo-Christian civilization. Moderate Islam wants to live side by side with Western civilization. And that's really what we're fighting here. Lebanon has to choose to be on the side of civilization, the side of moderation, the side of accommodation, of living side by side with the West. And I think most of the people of Lebanon are there. Yeah. They're tired of this. So, we're tired of it too. So we should move forward. Those points on the border are all going to be worked out. We need our defense. You need your sovereignty. If we sit together, the same way we do business successfully all over the world, if we sit together, we'll do business together and we'll solve that problem as well. May this year, we're approaching the new year, Christmas, the new year, and let's pray together that 2026 becomes the year of Abraham Accords 2.0, where we live in peace and harmony.
After decades of division and conflict, we mark the dawn of a new Middle East.
For decades, the Jewish state has prayed for peace. Those who are with us today and those who will join us tomorrow, I say, Assalamu alaikum.